And yet, if you're one of those Jamaican women that I'm speaking about that does this, on no account should you ever in your life then open your mouth to call a white person racist, because that's exactly what you're promoting. On no account do you ever open your mouth and call another race oppressive, because that's exactly what you're expressing. Morning guys, hello everyone, welcome to my channel, welcome to Concern. How are you? Okay, so today's vlog or video to say, I will be addressing this issue that I have been having with some Jamaican women and their children. And this issue is not something that started today, it's something that has always occurred since I moved into Britain, at least since my college days. And I just tired of addressing it like privately. I think it has to be addressed publicly, because it doesn't just affect me, it actually affects loads of other people, especially people of African descent, specifically really, like Africans or newly Africans coming into Britain. So the topic I'll be speaking on is the whole issue of being told not to speak your language and to speak English. So what is my issue with this? First of all, I don't think you have any rights, any both human, legal right to inform another person, regardless of their race, to not speak their language. Because the last time I checked, English is not your mother tongue. English is not the language your father spoke before they came to Britain. It wasn't the language that they spoke before slavery. So why do you feel the need to be so rude, insultive, and downright foolish, I'll say, to inform another African to not speak their language, when you yourself have a language that you speak it publicly, you sing it you use it to sing songs. Your song and language is accepted almost everywhere, including that African country that you're trying to shut them from speaking their language. Now, why am I vexed? It's because this has happened to me as well. So I'll start from a background story. One is, many years ago, me and my cousin went to do our hair, and in this Jamaican woman's house. Now, in the house, they were speaking patois. They were conversing with each other without any care whether we, the non-speakers of patois, actually understood what they were speaking. Now, this never bothered us because, in general, other people speaking their language never bothers any other Africans, to be honest. But these people continue speaking their language. And then my cousin, who spoke a different language to me as well, I think she received the call. Oh no, she didn't receive a call. She had another person that came from the same country that she came from, and they were speaking their language. And this Jamaican woman that was doing our hair and her other clients that were of Jamaican had the audacity and the effrontery to tell her to stop speaking in her language that she knows because they don't understand it. I was super vexed. I thought, like, why in the world do you have the authority to have someone? I mean, me and my cousins, anyways, we addressed that woman very clearly. She's like, you guys have been here speaking your language. Now they are conversing with each other, nothing to do with you, none of your concern. And you want them to shut up and speak their language? Speak in English. Sorry, I mean. Is English their language? Is it their mother tongue? Please let African people be. Especially, I have this stupid experience with many like Jamaican women. Not all of them, to be honest. It's mostly like, I don't know. There's some that just feel like they can oppress other Africans to say. And that really pisses me off a lot. So that's my issue with many Jamaican women. And then recently we had the same thing happen in a baby shower that we went to. Now I was speaking with my friend in our language, and then after speaking with her, I directed a question to another person that was present there who was from Jamaica. Little did I know that this man was vexed in her mind and angry that we were speaking our language in a house, in our own a place, like not in our own house, but the person that had the baby shower was from our place. So she told us to speak English. She's like, English please. I'm like, babe, I even asked the question to you in English because I will not ask you a question that you will not understand. So I mean, we had a little bit of argument with that. I'm like, I get it. If you feel like you're being left out in conversation, tell the other person in a nice and good tone. The way it's like, you guys have been here speaking your language and blah 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 blah. I'm like, if you feel left out, why not tell us? Even the other people that were there, none of them spoke our language, but they had no issues with that. They were speaking their language as well. If you want to be included, then say, oh guys, come on, I'm not understanding what is going on. But in the same token, this is why I reflected back on my other story. Yeah, we went to this person's house. She didn't bother thinking about us there, and she was busy speaking their own language, which was fine. You could see how they were talking and while laughing, joking. I would never in my life open my mouth to tell someone to shut up and not speak their language. So sometimes I wonder which planet did these Jamaican women that I have the experience with come from. Because if they came from planets that respects people, then they would never open their mouth to speak. So that was my issue. That I mean, we let it go. We all got along anyways. The party went on. Now, finally, what made me then want to speak this out is I just had another experience from, again, two Jamaican women, and it's always their women, I must say, that I always had this experience with. I haven't had it with the men yet, maybe because I don't have much contact with them. But these two Jamaican women, one of them describes herself as Black British, or she's of Jamaican descent. They were doing their hair. They came to an African store to do her hair. These people were speaking their language. I came there before them, and they were speaking their language. I don't even understand what they were speaking, but I knew they were gossiping about each other. you could just know that they were simply gossiping about maybe their own people and what was going on. And I was cool. I was like, yeah, I was fine. Why would I even worry about someone speaking their language that is not of mine? So they were busy conversing in their own language and laughing and joking. And then obviously when questions were asked, when they were trying to figure out what to do with the woman's hair, they were conversing with each other, like consulting with each other whatever they were talking about. But you can, I mean, personally, I'm able to gauge when people are talking negatively or positively about you, regardless of the language that they speak. And they weren't really speaking anything of negative of them. You can say, okay, how do you know for sure? You can tell from body languages. Rather, they were just trying to, like when someone is trying to talk about hair and discussing, like, is it short, is it short, is it long, is it those, I don't know how to explain it, because they did the same thing when I came in, whilst they were speaking about trying to figure out what length that they wanted. Personally, I see no reason why I should be concerned about what they were speaking about, as long as when they were trying to speak to me, they conversed in the language I could understand. But then again, I do understand from those Jamaican women's perspective, it would be helpful if they could speak in a language that they do understand. So that was what happened. And do you know, guys, as these people were talking, this because there's now two Jamaicans, one came before and she was staring at me weirdly, and I was wondering why she's staring at me in such a way. I think she already had something in her mind. And then this other one came, so that gave her someone to complain to, or someone as an alibi to talk rubbish about these African women. So what I did then is just ignore both of them. These two people told the hairdressers to not speak their language. They're like, and their language, like, what was their argument? People should be banned for speaking their language. I've never heard some foolishness in public spaces as well. That's what they should be banned in speaking their language in public spaces, and then they were agreeing with each other. I've never had such stupidity in my life for such a long time. Actually, I've never had it. Like, why would you ban? Sorry, guys. Why would you ban someone from speaking their language? Let's say if we ban patois for speaking publicly, because at the end of the day, it's used in most music coming out of Jamaica. It's used in most, even movies, like music coming out of Nigeria. Do you see? This is where the whole thing annoyed me. I'm like, these guys don't get it. In Nigeria, see how many people love Jamaican accents? No, not accents, their language. And people like, the men, mostly most African men, they try to copy and and speak the language just in a way to promote each other and love each other. But these ones felt like they had the oppressor mind. My mind is like, I just got tired of addressing this issue publicly. Privately, I feel like this has to be addressed publicly. If you're any of these Jamaican women that I've spoken about, please repent. English is not your freaking language. It's not your mother tongue, because at the end of the day, The funny thing is that when the hairdressers, after having a bit of, will I say, arguments slash discussion with the two Jamaican women, one of them asked the other woman, like, oh, don't you speak another language? And foolishly she's like, yeah, well, actually, think about it, I do speak Patois. Does that make sense? You have another language that you speak. If everyone bans your language, how would you feel? If someone tells you, if you're speaking to your brother or your sister in Patois, and someone comes into your midst and says, stop speaking Patois, how would you feel? The last time I checked, slavery was banned, and it was banned with also people being allowed to express themselves according to how they wish, according to their language, according to who they are, according to their culture. Now, I didn't realize the foolishness also goes so publicly that even I've seen people like on videos, let's say YouTube or the Vine or stuff like that, doing the same thing to other people, people of different cultures, not even black people, like Eastern Europeans. The last time I checked, I keep saying it, no one passed the slavery baton to you. You're on no position, absolutely no position to open your mouth and tell someone else not to speak their language. Language is what makes a person who they are. Within language, there's so many things encompassed in it. It makes you feel you, it makes you feel a sense of identity and the rest. If you want, you can go Google and find out the importance of language. And considering I even studied psychology as well, there's a lot of new research telling you the importance of language and identity, language and self-worth, language and everything that is included. So what is my advice? Please help me advise this Jamaican woman, because I'm tired of this thing being spoken privately. English did not ban other people speaking their language for a reason, because they realized that was also a part of oppression. And yet, if you're one of those Jamaican women that I'm speaking about that does this, on no account should you ever in your life then open your mouth to call a white person racist, because that's exactly what you're promoting. On no account do you ever open your mouth and call another race oppressive, because that's exactly what you're expressing. Anyways, that's my message. Please think, don't be foolish, don't be stupid. Realize that language plays a part in people's life, and the same way you would not want your language to be banned, I see no reason why you should open your mouth and tell other people that they should not ban their language publicly. Now, one of them did mention even at workplace. To a great degree, I do understand in workplace it's important to speak the common language, not just that the staff will understand, but most importantly what the patients will understand, your clients will understand, as it does create a harmony and unison at work. But I've worked in places where people spoke their language. It never really concerned me, because at the end of the day, if you don't speak to me in a language that I understand and then you give me a task I don't do it, then that's your business. But I've never felt anyone use it against me to say, and even if they're using it against me, I feel, well, that's their own stupidity, because I'm not even understanding what you're saying. So whatever you want it to have effect on me, it's not having effect on me, if that makes sense. I do understand for workplace purposes that you should speak the common language, which in England at least is Britain. And then the funny thing is, like, have you thought about it? British people, you that is even a British, have you ever been on holiday and picked up all the languages that they speak? I've met so many British people that move, like, especially even those that even stayed in Nigeria for donkey years, like 60 years, none of them even bother to pick up any language. And if they even try to speak your language, they'll destroy it. Like, you even unrecognize your own language. And what is in that? That is called pride. That's the only thing I see it is unwillingness to learn and pride. And then that if you're also a British person that tells other people to speak your language, you should be also willing to speak other people's language, most importantly when you go to their place. My issue is not about speaking English. My issue is, if you're going to do it to one person, do it to everyone. And you know the stupid and foolishness then in these women that I'm speaking about, well, especially the ones in the salon, is she's like, Well, I did go to Africa. Ask her what language that she actually picked up from Africa. Zero. And she herself acknowledged that even English people do not try and pick up any language, or British people, or anyone that speaks English at least. From other people, they don't even try and learn the language of other people. Rather, they expect everyone to speak English. And also, she herself acknowledged. Anyways, let me just leave her herself. What is my point? Please help me advise you and your, if you have offsprings that you've trained to be like this, please, my advice is stop the foolishness, stop oppress. No one passed the slavery button, no one like the baton or whatever. No one asked you to continue with slavery. In England, at least, one thing that England prides themselves with, which is part of their value, is freedom. There's no need for you to be the oppressor here. You are also a black person like them. Do you know these people that you're telling to not speak their language? Most of them are not even speaking their language. Most of them are speaking the language of those who are already oppressed them. Have you heard about Cameroon? How they are killing each other over English or French? None which are their language of their culture. None which are their dialects. None which are their mother tongue. People are killing each other for other people's languages. Or even you come to Nigeria, people get oppressed for not speaking English. When English was never their mother tongue, even when they get to speak their own mother tongue, they are, to some extent, if they only speak their own mother tongue at least, they are to some extent ridiculed about it. I'm made to feel unintelligent. So this issue I'm addressing is straightly to Jamaicans, because that's the only ones I've seen in UK that are still opening their mouth and trying to oppress others by telling them not to speak their language. And if you're also, and I would say, let me address Nigerian people as well. If you're one of those idiots that think that because your child speaks English, that's why they're intelligent, then you are mistaken. You are as stupid as everyone else that I just mentioned here. Because English, at the end of the day, is not what makes you intelligent. It's what you teach your child. Language has everything to do with behavior. My dear, if I'm you, go and research what language can do to a child, what language can do to a person. This is, you know what? I'll address Nigerian people later, because I realize many Nigerians, I'll say precisely Igbos, most of them are so ashamed of themselves because of they don't like themselves. I'll say, if you don't like your language, you don't like yourself. That's my take on it. And you don't see yourself as valuable. I love living in England, and living in England, I've learned a lot about the self-identity and self-awareness, loving of the self. And one thing I realize is in England, if you value yourself, these people will value you. They'll try and those that will bring you down. But if you consistently value who you are as a person, they will put emphasis on valuing you even at the highest level. Anyways, let me stop ranting. I think hopefully this has made it clear to you guys. Stop opening your mouth to tell other people to stop speaking their language, because guess what? If they're going to stop anyone from speaking their language, guess who they started with? You. You think what's it called? Brexit means just, oh no, let me not talk about Brexit. Everyone. Oh God. Bye. I'm going. Like, I'm pissed. Like, even thinking about it, I can't understand why someone in their own sense, knowing the oppression that their grandparents went through, knowing the identities that they lost, including their language, their African language that they lost, can open their mouth and tell someone else not to speak their language. It's not your language, is it? Are you the one speaking it? You're not the one speaking it. It's not your language. Leave it for them. If they wish to sleep, the only advice actually, then if you want to advise someone, you respect, use respect, advise the person. It will be definitely beneficial if a person can speak in English if they're in England, because it only allows them to obviously integrate much better and be able to sell their products or whatever they are doing, do their business properly. Advise them in such way that they're opening your mouth and telling them not to speak their language, and that their language should be banned. Then maybe you should be banned as a person for even uttering such atrocity when English people there that even did the slavery are trying to take them